Charlie's got a new welcoming home. Before we get to today's video, I want to take a moment to talk about Patreon. That's right, we are on Patreon now, and we have a bunch of tiers with a bunch of great rewards. You can subscribe and get things like early access to all reactions, depending on your tier, depends on which reactions you get early access to. You can vote on polls exclusive to patrons that will help determine future reaction series and more. You will get to just have various choices in terms of like getting to choose future reactions I react to, getting to choose first impressions I check out, all kinds of different rewards, and possibly more coming in the future. We're still new at this. We're still figuring things out. It's a process. It's a process. But we have multiple tiers, so whatever you would be able to donate, if you're able and willing to donate, is appreciated. It helps me out, it helps the channel out, it helps us grow. It's going to help just, standardly. It's just something new to check out. Plus, if you like getting the reactions early, that's also a plus. But it is optional. If you're unable to do it, that's completely fine. All reactions will come to YouTube just a little bit later, a week later or so. So that all being said, thank you as always so much, and let's get on with today's video. And with that being said, hey everyone, welcome to Princess Gay. I'm your host Connie, and today we are here with my blind reaction to episode 12 of the Darwin incident. This is the penultimate episode of the season. There's definitely plenty of more content to go, so it's likely we could get a season 2, and I'm really hoping we do, because this series may have flown under the radar for a lot of people, but I really feel like it honestly is one of the best series I've watched in a long time. Like, I genuinely think this series is one of the best I've seen in a long time. It's that good. And I love this kind of shit. So, it's not really a surprise, because I love the kind of, like, psychological, political thriller shit that makes you think and makes you, like, question things, really focuses heavily on story and character. It's like, I mean, I love Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood. Everyone loves Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood. Do you not realize that's also a political thriller? Do you not realize that politics are literally the core of Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood? Like, that's so excessively important to the main themes and story and everything. Every character's entire, like, backstories revolve around it. Like, the entire Ishvalan War of Extermination is a political thing. And so it's like, plus, obviously, there's One Piece, too. One Piece is excessively political. A lot of people still don't seem to fully realize that. A lot of people still think One Piece is like, haha, funny pirate manga. And then it's like, no, One Piece is about dismantling an oppressive world government. and freeing people from, despot kings and whatnot. It's extremely political by nature. And so, yeah, it's like that is the kind of shit I tend to like. Although Darwin Incident does take it in a much more serious tone and direction, which I'm not opposed to by any means. I think that's fine. It's just, it does make it a lot more upsetting at times, admittedly, than a show that does tend to have a little more of a mixed tone, where it's like, oh yeah, some parts are really heavy, but then there's parts that are really goofy and silly as well. So it's like, Darwin Incident has been extremely serious. I've said it before, I'll say it again. I was not expecting that going into that. I was not expecting this to be that serious. But it has been. It's kind of fucked me up at a point or two, so there's that. And now we're into at least the finale of season 1. Charlie's parents are gone. He's been basically, you could say, adopted by Phil and his wife. And I actually, I said it before, I said it last time, but I want to reiterate it here. I really love that it was Phil. I think Phil was narratively the correct person. Because it's like Lucy, like, she already liked Charlie from the start, and her mother doesn't. So it's like there would be a conflict with that would just be like, I feel like it just wouldn't really amount to anything because I don't think that she would allow Charlie to stay there. But Phil coming around on Charlie and actually, like, realizing that he's not the problem, even willing to protect him here against the ALA and against all the people of the town who want him out and stuff. Like, it shows how far he's come from the beginning. Because at the beginning, like, he hated Charlie because of the incident from 10 years ago. And so this kind of growth is just very important for him. I love it. I think it's fantastic. His wife is like super peppy and like very cutesy, which it's like, I think that's adorable because he's normally very serious and like stoic. But we've also seen that he does care. He is a good person. It's just I like that he and his wife are very different. And I believe I compared it to my grandparents last time. My grandmother tends to be a little more high energy, a little more fun. And my late grandfather was a little more of like a grump, like stereotypical, like grumpy old man, but also the most caring man you'll like ever meet. Well, not anymore, but ugh, made myself a little sad there, but you know what I mean. The most caring man you'd ever meet, and he's like, he loved his wife, my grandmother, so much. So it's like, yeah, it's like I very much see that kind of vibe with these two. And so now I guess I think I said it before, but I don't think we're gonna get much of any of the ALA for the rest of this season. We might like check in on them, but they're not going to be making any real moves. Because after that, that's like the big like final like moment for them. They don't I feel like shouldn't have much of anything more to do at this point in this season. They should that should definitely wait for season 2. But like that would basically mean that all we've really got to deal with is the town. And I actually kind of like bringing the end of this season down to a more grounded threat. Because the ALA are like extravagant as fuck. They're so intense and so like they're these massive like hyper terrorists. And so it's like I like bringing down the season in a more grounded way, focusing on Charlie having to deal with like having lost his parents and him and Lucy like trying to just recover from that because they both cared so much for them. And then, having to deal with like just the idiots around town. I feel that's actually a much better way to close out than with something, at least for this first season, than with something related to the ALA. We might see them again, especially Rivera, just like planning their next move, but we're not going to see their next move until season 2. But that being said, I say we should just get into this and see what episode 2 has in store. Episode 2. Wow. Episode 12 has in store for us. Hold up just a sec. Before you click that link down in the description below to get to today's video, I want to remind you of all the awesome content we have both on this channel and the Princess of Gaming channel. Let's check it out. Welcome to the Afterthoughts. We'll begin with spoilers in 3, 2, 1, now. So like I said, I went on Twitter here, and when I look up Darwin incident in the search, the very first thing is for this episode. It says, Lucy is about to sleep with the monkey, isn't she? Not a monkey. Again, also really hate that you're calling Charlie the monkey. But also, yeah, it's exactly what I was thinking was going to happen. You see people in the comments saying like, this is why God is going to set everything on fire. And like just a bunch of meme images and everything. Though someone made like a little meme joke about it. If they have a kid, would it be a human Z? And yep, that chick is into bestiality and everything that's being brought up. Just a bunch of shit like this. And it's just... it's exactly what you would expect. A lot of people who probably haven't even watched the series, who are just like seeing this posted and like wondering what the fuck is going on, and who don't have any context for it at all. And then some people who have watched the series and are just like not understanding any of the themes or messages about the show, and are just like, you know, calling Charlie the monkey. Like, oh my god. That feels like so actively insulting, does it not? Like, that almost feels like a slur at this point. To call him the monkey. And I gave my thoughts during the reaction on what I feel about this, but just like as a quick like Cliff Notes reiteration here. He's half human. He's just as much human as he is chimp. He's just as much human really as anyone. He has full intelligence. He has full cognitive ability. He can make informed decisions. There is absolutely no like logical reason to be like militantly against this in my eyes. He's a person just like anyone else, and anyone with like a functioning brain, I feel, would see him more as a person than, you know, a chimp. Just because he happens to look like a cross between the two physically, it's like he's still like vastly more human than chimp in terms of pretty much everything. Like the idea could be brought up that like he's like a 50-50 split, but I don't think he is. I actually think it's more like, at the very least, a 60-40 split, with the 60 being more human. I think he is vastly more human than he is chimpanzee. Though we haven't gotten, like, exact specifics, because the research was, you know, destroyed. So we actually don't have that specific information. Intentionally. But based on all the evidence we have, it's like it feels very obvious. And again, it's like he and Charlie can have, or he and Charlie, he is Charlie. He and Lucy can have completely informed, like, discussions with each other. Consent is absolutely something that can be given here.
there's nothing wrong with it. Like, there just isn't. I do like how, like, Lucy's reaction to this, though, um, is that she's not against the idea that there is definitely something there, that she does like him to a degree, but that she's not ready to commit to anything right now. I think that's actually a super healthy way to just look at, romance and sex in the first place, between anyone, even in the real world. Like, you can be romantically interested in someone and not want to engage in sex with them right away. You might not be ready for that for a number of reasons. And Lucy clearly isn't. And setting those limits and making sure that Charlie knows about it is good. It's genuinely a good thing. Cuz he's clearly interested because, he's going through puberty. He has those hormones raging through his system. Um and this is clearly something she's never thought about. It's very blatantly something she has never thought about. But now that it's verbalized, again, she clearly doesn't mind the idea. It's not something she's like against. It's just she's not ready to take that step at the moment. And I have to give her all the kudos in the world for not only just acknowledging that, but expressing it and not being afraid to express it. We also find out that Lucy is a child of in vitro fertilization. Her mother was was fertilized through a sperm bank, and there was no actual sex involved. Lucy doesn't even really know her father to any real degree. Her like the sperm donor, all she has is a blurry picture, like some very minor information. She really doesn't have anything about him, and it's clear that she doesn't entirely mind that. It's not something she finds a huge amount of importance in. But as she said, the fact that Rivera mentioned it, the fact that he seemed to know about it and was almost trying to use it to use against her, that's more concerning. Because Rivera is a psychopath. And him using information against people is a frightening prospect no matter what. So, yeah. The fact that he can find out pretty much anything, and the fact that his, like, I guess resources and stuff are good enough to where he can even, like, make it so that he can kidnap a sitting um politician like this is insane. It's like that's insane that he's able to pull all this off. I mean, with the rest of the ALA, of course, but still. I just wonder where that's going at this point. Like, what are they going to do with that? Like, I assume, again, he's going after this guy because of him fighting against or shutting down the entire animal rights thing, but that was mentioned briefly. But still. I also like that Phil and his wife are acclimating really well to having Charlie be in the house. Phil gave him a housewarming gift of the tablet. His wife is making all this good vegan food and everything to welcome Charlie, and it's like I just really love that. Like, Phil was even willing to give up his badge, willing to give up his job security for Charlie. That shows how much he's grown. And again, I said in the reaction, but that's the sign of an actual good cop who's willing to sacrifice that job and that job security for what's right. Most cops wouldn't do that, especially American cops. We know this from experience. Unfortunately. Like, I think the only other example I can think of off the very top of my head of another cop, another American cop specifically, who I've seen in media do this kind of thing, is from Detroit Become Human, my favorite video game of all time. Um, with Hank, one of the not main characters, but one of the main supporting cast for one of the main characters. Um, he at one point, without going into too much detail, uh, basically hands in his badge and gun because he doesn't agree with what his superior officer is doing, what everybody's doing. Like, he's even at one point taken off the case that he's working on, and basically just like helps the android that he's befriended break into the evidence room while causing a stir by punching an FBI agent in the face. It's a great scene. Hank is one of those cops, though, that is willing to give up everything to do what's right, because he puts actual justice and, humanity before, being a cop. So, and Phil, at the beginning of this series, I still don't think Phil would have done stuff like this, taking in Charlie, um giving up his badge, even if temporarily, for Charlie. I don't think he would have. This is development that we've seen throughout this season. And I love that he's developing in this way. Now, we did see that the one guy, I can't think of his name right now, but the redneck asshole guy who's very clearly a horrifically evil person. We did see that he got Phil's badge back for him, because we know he has like exceptionally terrifying influence. And so I definitely still think, going to be a problem moving forward. And he is definitely going to use the fact that he got Phil's badge back as an attempt to try and like manipulate him into agreeing with him about Charlie. But hopefully Phil stays strong. That's my wish there. I like that with puberty, Charlie's also just getting exceptionally physically stronger. Like, to the point where it's actually shocking the lab and everything. But yeah, just overall, I I feel like this was a really simple episode that focused only on a couple things, but did it really well. It leads into the next episode, the final one of the season, and I think that's where we're going to get a little bit more. Because I think we're going to see Rivera like talking to this politician and everything, and we're going to have like maybe even like a big like final moment that sets up season 2. I mean, a lot of shows do that, to be fair, but this series especially feels like it's going to go in that direction, to where it's going to give us like that one big moment to end the season on. But I guess we'll have to wait and see to find out. But yeah, I think that this was an interesting episode. It brought up some interesting topics of discussion. I would like to hear your thoughts down in the comments below. So tell me what you thought of this episode and of the different topics it brought up. And for now, I'm Connie, and I'm signing off. See y'all next time.